Hi.
Haha,
Hello.
you guys couldn't get RTXs for Black Friday. Ha ha
You couldn't get one last year for Black Friday either. Ha 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 ha. Or probably next year. Ha ha ha. For being honest, it's so fucking funny, huh? Scalpers and crypto miners and
Can we also
and
just
COVID
say though,
and
like Black Friday and also Cyber Monday? I don't know if you saw any websites as far as like Amazon or whoever, like in the deals that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty shit all across the board. And I mean, I think that's been historical, usually. Like, most of the time, like, most of these, like, places and their quote-unquote deals or doorbusters was always, like, kind of shit. And, okay, I want to ask them, just because, like, since it's, like, the day after Thanksgiving and...
At the very least, this episode of the Double D Experience, which is what you're listening to right now, is
guys.
free. It's a week after Black Friday, but the deals don't stop here. You get this hot piping, steaming, fucking Dutch oven episode of the Double D Experience, absolutely free a whole week after Black Friday. You know, the podcast you're listening to, Double D Experience. Sometimes low prices, sometimes...
Sometimes always trying to scam the fuck out of you. Give us your money.
Doesn't roll off the tongue as much, but sure. But
donate to our Patreon.
But
our
always
OnlyFans.
capitalistic. Let's go with that. That had to have been the worst one yet. I couldn't think of one. It wasn't that witty. I was trying to think of one like that was off like the cuff for Black Friday.
That wasn't like even you just tripping on your shoelaces. That was literally you falling down the staircase of a 15-story apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
And it finally, when you land and stop rolling, is when you, you tell the audience, it's like, wow, that was the worst intro ever.
That was like me like tripping over my shoelace while already walking down the wrong escalator. It's the up one. And then as I'm rolling down the escalator perpetually because it's the up escalator, both of my shoelaces get caught inside of the escalator itself and twist both of my ankles like I just got crossed up on the basketball court as I'm rolling down trying to make my way, broken ankles all about, and as I finally land, the shit is just so twisted it looked like I just had a fucking happy Lebronica and just got crossed up to the fucking shadow realm with how broken my ankles are. I feel like that's how hard... That's how hard I fell right there. That's how bad that trip was. But
David, how was your Thanksgiving?
Yeah, no reason to dwell on the past. It was nice. My sister came, surprise visit. She told me beforehand and not to tell my parents, so it would be a surprise. Had to leave a door unlocked for her and whatnot. Visited Grandma Tunist in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just brought food there for her and whatnot. And then we just sort of casually ate when we got home. Pretty standard, but, you know, more than anything, what I thought of this Thanksgiving is just how grateful I am for the things I actually do have and have gained this year. Because last year, I'm going to be real, it was pretty hard to find gratitude for much things with the state of mind that I was in and with the state of the world that the world was in. And with my jobs and with the people I have in my life now and with this podcast and with all sorts of things, I've learned so much and I've grown so much as a man over this last year that I have way too much gratitude for all the things that allowed that to happen in my life. So, ask not what you... That's the wrong JFK quote. Fuck.
Pray not. Can do for your country.
Yeah, I was gonna say pray not for easy lives, my friends. Pray to be stronger men. Like that's what I've gotten. So pretty standard Thanksgiving. Honestly, nothing special. You know, I was with my immediate family. No one came to visit or nothing. So there wasn't like the stereotypical like, oh, you're such a handsome man, David. Why don't you have a girlfriend? Like nothing like that. You know.
Do you have a family member that sounds like Emperor Palpatine?
No, I'm very loosely related to Gruntilda.
I
hate you, my friend?
I hate you for making me make that joke. I hate you.
I didn't make you do that. Oh, yeah, I did, I guess. I should. I guess I am indirectly responsible for that.
You just had to twist my arm, David. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was trying to twist. My aim is bad. So, how was your Thanksgiving?
Your ancestors probably bombed my ancestors during the Korean War. How does that make you feel?
My ancestors, really?
I like to think there was like one Cuban pilot in that whole U.S. Air Force.
What the fucking hell? What the fuck? What the hell was he doing there? Was he just very confused, just like in that airplane, like "Va la revolution"? Like you're in. Did he not notice that? Did he just see the palm trees and thought that this?
What did most of those guys, you think, like after coming out of World War II? Because like a lot of Korean War soldiers were just coming out of like the Second World War, and it's like literally they're back in uniform with a helmet, rifle, everything, and they're just like, wait, what the fuck? Didn't I just finish this? It's like the new game plus you never wanted. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, I thought I finished this. Didn't I just go through 8 years of this?
Like that shitty game mode that the developers added when it was literally nothing what they promised it would be. Like, they hyped the shit out of this game. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna have all this post-game content, and then it's just like a
graveyard of empty promises. And people legit even thought like World War One, they called it the war to end all wars, and lol, JK, here comes another one in 30 years. But speaking of my Thanksgiving, it was actually pretty nice. I actually had two Thanksgivings. One with my family, my extended family that were here. We all live pretty close by, around here in Bergen County. And I had another one with my girlfriend's family, and I honestly.
That was what I did back in 2019 when I had a girlfriend. but continue.
It's like David just slowly cries in the corner. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry, Dennis, I'm okay. Don't worry about me.
This turkey doesn't taste half as bad as how my feelings feel.
But can we talk about real quick how turkey is quite possibly, one of the worst fucking meats on the face of the planet, and we have a whole holiday that revolves around it. And I don't know what the fuck it was way back when Thanksgiving first started, because I know everyone knows the story. I'm not gonna go into it, but it just makes me think like y'all couldn't pick out a better fucking meat to be the center of your feast that day. Like, you had ham, you had pork, you had all this other stuff, and you pick the most goofiest looking bird on the face of the planet to be your centerpiece of the feast.
Well, maybe it was like, maybe they just thought it was ugly, so they killed it, and they thought, well, I'm not gonna let this thing go to waste.
And I don't like these Native Americans that much anyway, so here, it's like, we'll bring this. Don't waste the pork on them. We'll use this dumbass looking bird.
Yeah, you ever think that like for 200 years we've had to eat like the shittiest like white meat known to man just to celebrate like the fucking like 25-minute truce that those fucking white pilgrims had with the indigenous people that were there? Like they just fucking killed them like afterwards anyway. So why are we celebrating peace with the peace bird? It tastes like poop.
And it's so funny too, because like we're taught at a young age too about like the holiday, and obviously when we're kids learning about this shit, we're not going to go into like the darker part of it, obviously. It was just so funny because like, especially during my middle school and elementary school days, we had a pretty watered down version of like American and world history in our textbooks. But when we talked about the Holocaust, my teachers went into excruciating detail. I almost think maybe they scarred a couple of us because of like how much detail they went into. Like we saw photographs of the people in the camps. Yeah. We saw like just shit that would break anyone's heart, really. But I think as a kid, as like middle schoolers, it's like, and especially considering like this was the age when middle schoolers were all playing like Halo and Call of Duty, and so like seeing violence, I guess, in that sort of way, like kind of desensitized us to a lot of other shit. But I always found that so odd that like a lot of the tragedies that this country has, like we have plenty throughout our history, from the 13 colonies to even now, but like we don't go into those. But going into the Holocaust, like they go like just go in with it. like to teaching their students, and I'm just kind of like
Schindler's List in high school, man. They showed us
Yeah.
that movie. That movie's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Really brutal.
And for all of you, I'm pretty sure like everyone's like, oh yeah, Schindler's List, a great Thanksgiving movie.
that movie is straight up like Activision. I mean, because every single time that you think it can't possibly get worse, it
gets
does.
worse.
That movie does every single time. Every single time, there's like, okay, that had to have been the worst scene in this thing. That was brutal. They just like fucking like gut shot a kid with a fucking 12 gauge and like held him up like by his arms and shit after shooting his whole fucking family through the floorboards. Surely there's no way it could get worse. And
it gets
then
worse.
there's that other scene with Ray Fiennes just beating the fucking shit out of that woman for like not fucking him or some shit. Like it, like that. Schindler's List is legitimately probably one of the most fucking brutal mainstream movies ever made, as far as like, you know. And maybe not I mean, it is violent as hell.
Yeah,
There are more violent horror movies, but they're not
It's
realistic.
genocide
you know?
on fucking film. And
Yeah, there's literally long sequences in that movie of just a bunch of Jews getting fucking shot and stabbed and like murdered and shit. Like long sequences where it's like, okay, can we get Liam? Liam, come back.
You can go save him now. Like,
come back, please. Like,
there was one. I guess I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't be going into Schindler's List like a little too much, but like,
nah.
If there's at least one thing that
Because nothing says Thanksgiving
like Schindler's.
Like we have a tradition in our household. Every Thanksgiving, we all sit down as a family. Get my young daughter here, 4 years old, little Samantha. We love you, baby, and we watch Schindler's List together.
And they're not even Jewish either. Like, it's like, why are we watching this? Like, why do you love this so much, mom and dad? And like, the dad, like, I don't know, is just like, because you know some people do, like, depending on like, I guess what nationality you are, and like, I guess if the genocide like did affect your people, it's like they have a bit of an attachment to like certain things, especially like if it has to do with, let's say, those events. But like, it's still like really funny, and at the same time not really funny. Obviously, like, genocide's not funny, but at the same time, like, it's just like, I think the whole idea of this one particular one of the Holocaust is just so expanded and emphasized, at least within the United States, because the United States has like a huge Jewish population. But like, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of other recorded genocides in history that are pretty recent too, that literally dwarf the body count of the fucking Holocaust.
They don't care as much. It's from a country they never heard of.
But
you know, who cares?
But that's
it's
why
in
I'm
like
saying,
Afro-Kazakhstan. I'm all the way here in America. It doesn't matter that, you know, like 4 million more fucking people died.
The
it's
ignorance.
Just, who cares?
I can't blame the ignorance, because it's like literally because like America really is like, I've always said historically, just one of those countries where like, unless it's happened to us or like that we're familiar with it, we don't give a fuck about it. Because like there were dozens of times where like there were straight up like natural disasters outside of our freaking country like that happened. Not even just genocides, like events where lives were lost en masse. Especially like the Fukushima reactor meltdown.
I remember watching shit on 60 Minutes about that, man.
Yeah.
Like, there was literally like a guy like just walking through that who was just straight up looking for his fucking like daughter's ashes and shit. It's like
everyone also remembers like the overhead footage that they've had of like the entire town just basically just gone. It's just literally gone. The water just took everything, and obviously, of course, the reactor also melting down, as if like. I always just think, like, Japan, like, why aren't more of you moving the fuck out of there? And I know, and obviously, like, there's obviously reasons why, but it's just like, me as an American seeing an island nation being bombarded by straight up natural disasters, basically every fucking 3 months, there's always something. There's another earthquake, there's another hurricane or tsunami that fucking just literally wipes out some coastal town, and they just keep going on. I almost think it's like, I do find it admirable, but at the same time, it's like, dude, I'd move the fuck out of here, like, immediately.
You know, part of me wishes that they would just sort of, like, manifest Destiny West again and just, like, get, like, half of China.
They tried doing that, and the whole world was against them. We literally declared war on them for that shit.
But they tried to manifest Destiny East, too.
There is no East for them. Where else? What, these stupid fucking rocks that were out in the middle of the Pacific?
You a fucking flat earther? Yes, there's east. They continue going there.
No,
just because
they
it's on
did.
the end of the
but at the very
geographical
least,
map.
what is more profitable? Going China or going to some fucking no-name island in the Pacific?
Well, it depends on what you value in life, Dennis, because apparently the Japanese valued comedy, because they cut their cocks off and put them in their mouths. So maybe to them, that was more worth it, my friend. It's the smaller things in life, asshole.
It's some dark shit.
It's the fucking smaller things in life.
I know, but it's some dark shit, don't you think? That like,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's
I
like
don't
with
know, man. I
Japan.
mean, some of it can be pretty funny. Like, dude, that scene in Schindler's List where like they're having all their children taken away on that train. Oh, peak comedy.
No, the Rape of Nanking was comedy gold, dude.
Oh, dude, I was laughing my ass
hell.
off, man. Yeah. People just don't know how to take a joke nowadays. God. God, I remember the scene in Schindler's List where there's a whole scene where like they gather a bunch of the Jews together, put them in the chamber, and the one thing they actually don't show in that movie is them getting gassed. They don't show them getting gassed. There's a scene where the movie literally teases you into thinking you're gonna watch them getting gassed. It builds your heart rate up over and over and over, and then it turns out they were just bathing them. It's like literally like that part of the movie, and that's towards like that farther echelon of the movie towards the end.
Yeah.
Where even the movie recognizes like, okay, like you need a break.
Yeah, this
Like
is
you need a break because this is too much. It's like
this
too
is,
disheartening
up to
and too
this
horrible
point,
to watch.
Yeah, because like a lot, especially like I don't think they ever will show Jews getting gassed on film because honestly,
is there real
at that
footage of it?
No, I mean maybe they could be archival footage. I don't know. If
What's
they
some
were
fucking alt-right dude listen to this shit like, well then how do we know that it happened?
Yeah, there's also like them Holocaust deniers, which I'm like astounded that these people even still exist. There was one famous historian, I think, I forgot his fucking name, but like this dude went out in public and basically denounced the Holocaust and was basically saying that like one, not only that it never happened, but at the same time that this is just a defamation campaign against the Germans from the Third Reich. And
Oh, you know, the most oppressed people.
oh yeah, yeah, they were oppressed by the Russians after 43. That's for sure.
Ugh, that was the biggest fucking like ass crunching that has ever happened in like the history of fucking wars, bro. I mean, if you want to know some of the logistics, which I mean, I know you already do. I'm talking talking to the audience.
Yeah, the dum dums.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure everyone, not everyone, but like at least there are some history buffs out there.
I'm sure and also every motherfucker who listens to our show definitely is not gonna be offended by us calling you dum dums. Ironically.
Yeah,
you're already listening to our show.
Call us retards in the comments, please.
You're already listening to the Double D experience.
Yeah.
Like you are a moron.
The most educational and forthright of information podcast in the entire Eastern Hemisphere.
It's violent. It's educational. But mostly violent.
And it'll make your mother
violent.
And it'll make your mother cry.
I forgot what I was gonna fucking say now. Oh yeah.
If you
want to know the actual logistics, the Russians outnumbered them literally 10-1.
Yeah.
So like there were just millions and millions and millions and millions of those fuckers who were coming out to this one tiny little speck that didn't manifest destiny. Well, I mean it did manifest destiny to itself hard enough, but like literally, I mean, I know this one girl at my work, her grandfather was straight up in the Red Army.
Oh, during
World War II, yeah.
Oh shit!
Like I literally told her, I'm like, that is fucking metal as fuck. That's what I told her to her face, and she like laughed in like an I'm very honored kind of way. Because she's like trilingual, my friend. She speaks English, Spanish, and Russian. She is Russian. Yeah, yeah. She's quite the talented lass.
So she's double the communist. No, I'm joking.
I fucking joke about that all the time. Well, maybe not the commie part, but like the But yeah. Literally,
would you
like,
let her
fucking...
convert you? Would you let her convert you to communism if she let you fuck her? Like, would you denounce like your capitalistic ways for that pussy?
Well, I mean, Dennis, the thing is that in itself is kind of capitalistic because it would be an exchange of some service. pussy
Yeah,
is
but-
to be shared amongst us all.
Yeah, so
as
it's
it
gonna,
should be.
So she's gonna be
I
like,
all sit on it.
yeah. So she's gonna be like, David, I'll let you have our pussy for letting you join our ways.
But that means like my dick also like belongs to the people, as it should be. And I don't know how comfortable I am with that. If anything, that goes to show like it's a little misogynistic, I guess. Be like, oh, pussy shared amongst us all, as it should be. It not my cock. It is people's cock. Like, I could do that if I'm willing to whore myself out that hard, but at the same time, I don't want to wait in a fucking bread line for, you know, like, some girl who's been standing out in the cold for God knows how long. And you've all seen that Family Guy sketch. Those giant coats. You don't know what she's hiding under there.
Yo, but those coats look fire though. Honestly, I wish winters were that bad over here, just so I could warrant getting one. Like wear those big ass Russian fur caps. Although to be fair, I don't know if they even still wear those anymore, because it's like most people have already like just moved on to wearing like regular fucking caps.
Yes, and the Soviet Union also died some years ago.
Yeah.
So
and there's still what do you think's more cringier though? Like people who still are like, so like it's like, oh yeah, the Third Reich was fucking great. Like I love the Third Reich, and then literally there's also people who like love the Soviet Union, and people, I don't know, seem to conveniently forget like how many fucking massacres are underneath that fucking state's history alone. Like people seem to forget how many people Stalin killed under his regime before the war even. And the people and the mass arrests and shit like that.
At that point, Russia was also, I mean, to the Americans, at that point, Russia, in a sort of way, kind of was Afro-Kazakhstan. It might as well have been a country that a lot of people at that time might never had really, not that they never heard of, but they didn't really care about as much. You know, like Russia wasn't like, you know, the mortal enemy that it became literally the day after the war ended to America as it was then. And forgive me if I'm botching this history here. So maybe back then it would have been different, but I don't know, man. I think Nazis are
always gonna be.
I think
like
Nazis are kind of cringe.
And they're always gonna be enemy number one.
Oh no, really? Absolutely, bro. Like, remember, Nazis are the enemy. Spill their blood. Shoot them in the belly.
Oh, Patton speech. Is that what you're quoting right now?
Yes.
I actually love
I love that fucking shit so much. It's so funny, like the pauses that he makes. Remember, Nazis are the enemy.
Yeah, but people don't realize too that, especially Patton himself, he by the tail end of the war, and obviously if anyone obviously is a history buff and know a bit about Patton, George Patton was basically he was a U.S. general that fought during the European campaign in World War II, and this dude was a real fucking firecracker. And I know this sounds real gay to say, but like I don't really know. Like this guy was just straight up like fucking badass. It just did not give a fuck like either. His attitudes, especially like he made them pretty plain, and he was very vocal about like his opinions about his other generals that he worked with. One being Montgomery on the British side of things. Like he hated Montgomery with a fucking passion, and there was even going as to like how badass this dude was. There was a moment, I think, during the either North African campaign, and I think the headquarters that he was in basically got attacked. And this guy had the fucking balls to not only stand on his 2 feet and stare up ahead where that plane was coming at him, he fired on that plane with his pistol. And everyone else was just on the ground and like just being like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? And they just see this general looking straight at this plane and firing his clip at this fucking plane.
What did he think he was playing fucking Call of Duty? That doesn't work the same in real life.
I know, but
it's like literally he's trying to get his 11 kill streak going or some shit so he can get the fucking AC-130. That's not how that works.
Can you imagine just being like a regular private and you just see your general, who basically is your commander, like you're on the ground, like low key, kind of just getting the way out of the plane's fire, and you just see your general just looking at this plane, titanium balls like on the ground, just staring ahead and just firing away. It's like, I don't even care if I do kill this plane or not. I'm a fucking fire. I don't give a shit. That plane, fuck you.
I'd be like, yo, this
That's a
is
leader.
gonna suck.
Patton also did have a couple of bad PR episodes. There was this one incident where I believe 2 shell-shocked privates were in the infirmary, and he actually assaulted I believe one of them, and it was really, really bad PR for him. Essentially, it didn't destroy his.
So.
Yeah. It didn't destroy his career, and around that time too, like we were just beginning to realize like how much of a debilitating, not disease, but I guess like condition, shell shock was. Like we were just beginning to realize it and like actively trying to treat it. We already kind of got it. A taste of it, obviously, during World War I, and we had a lot of, obviously, soldiers coming back from the fronts after the war, basically just, like, having PTSD syndrome and, like, having shell shock. But treatment for it didn't really begin until after World War I and towards, obviously, World War II. And it was just, like, reading about Patton, too, like, and especially, like, I don't know if you ever really watched the movie.
For those of you that don't remember, Dennis is literally a historian, so
yes,
I would just...
and this shit's my bread and butter. But what do you call it?
And we're breaking bread right now.
Oh, breaking bread. Yes. After Thanksgiving, everyone still be eating those leftovers. I still was, low key. But man, we had so much leftovers. It's actually fucking ridiculous. Oh my god. And there was actually one other U.S. general that I found out about. I didn't know about him at all until like a couple weeks ago. And this guy was actually, I believe, the son of Teddy Roosevelt. He was, I believe, a general in the army, and he was actually there during the D-Day landings. But the thing is, most people think, at least for World War II generals, like they're never at the front lines. They're not with their soldiers, like on the beaches or in the trenches. They're usually out, way back behind the lines, obviously in headquarters and directing the battle.
Well, I mean, yeah, there. If they die, that's kind of a bigger loss.
Yeah. But the thing was, though, and here's the one factoid that I found, that this son of Teddy Roosevelt was such a fucking mad lad. This guy was so fucking, like, people straight up thought this guy was crazy. He, believe it or not, during I believe the day before the landings, he actually asked to be there in the first wave of troops that landed, not at Omaha, but mind you, but at I believe it was Utah Beach. And he gave in this request, and I believe the staff denied him because they basically said that, like, no, you're gonna die. No, what are you doing? Like, you're a fucking, I believe he was a 2-star general around that time. So, like, you're a 2-star general. You're not going there on the front lines with your soldiers. But this guy was fucking adamant. He was basically, he put his foot down and said, no, I am going with the first wave and going with my troops. And eventually the request was accepted. And basically the staff said, all right, fine, bon voyage. You go on the first wave. And I believe there was another general. He was quoted as saying, maybe it was Omar Bradley. He was, I think, one of the other generals that were down.
Was this Archibald Balach Roosevelt? Kermit Roosevelt?
No.
Or Quentin Roosevelt? Or was it Theodore Roosevelt Jr.?
I think it was Jr. Yeah. Jr. was over there.
Okay.
Junior.
What a diverse, what a very interesting batch of names.
Fucking Kermit of all damn names.
I was gonna put me on the beach.
Yeah, put me on the beach. Put me on the beach, General. I got this.
I want to kill those fucking Jew-hating fucks. Bombs away.
Imagine it was Kermit driving the plane that dropped the bomb and not
moving right along.
Oh, and believe it or not,
and Quentin too, which is just very ironic in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly. No.
And you have this guy who apparently never left the era that Teddy Roosevelt was from, fucking Archibald. God, that sucks. That's such a shit name.
So moving right along, at least with it, so eventually, yes, he did. When June 6th came, he was with the first wave of soldiers that landed on Utah Beach, and this guy was literally just like, not even like, this dude was standing straight up the whole fucking time. Bullets and everything were flying around everywhere, and this guy was just just basically saying like, all right, yo, troops, okay, we're gonna move off the beach. We gotta go up to the first like thing on line. Come on, let's this dude was straight up. I think some people were saying like almost like directing traffic.
Gonna be honest, he looks insane.
Dude had a heart condition and arthritis.
Photo of him, and like this is supposed to be like just his general headshot, and
this guy was fucking
but
he's a Roosevelt, man. Dude's a Roosevelt.
Yeah,
he comes from a whole line of badasses. Considering that he's named after Teddy, who himself like got shot at and gave a speech.
Again, I still firmly believe that he ripped the bullet out of his chest and threw it back at him with the force of 1,000 suns and just killed the guy.
I bet.
I think that's what actually happened, and that there was some sort of like government like censorship conspiracy that like they needed to shut him down. Like, oh, Teddy Roosevelt was like the first fucking ancient.
The world is not ready. The world is not ready for this amount of badassery. It's too soon.
The world was not ready for Teddy.
So there was a major general that he basically later wrote. He came onto shore basically after I think the first couple waves, and so. Basically, it reads off of Wikipedia, so again, not exactly the most, I guess, infallible source of information, but at the very least, like, they do source their stuff. So, when Major General Barton, the commander of the 4th Infantry Division, came ashore, he met Roosevelt not far from the beach. He later wrote, "While I was mentally framing orders, Teddy Roosevelt came up. He had landed with the first wave, had put my troops across the beach, and had a perfect picture, just as Roosevelt had earlier promised if allowed to go ashore with the first wave." That was the condition that at least he said. Like, he promised that I will have a perfect picture of the battlefield if you let me go with the first wave.
A perfect picture?
Yeah. Well, because you have to be there to kind of like,
hot dogs.
Yeah. Like, that's one of the main reasons why he wanted to go.
Do you think that Kermit wanted to go? Do you think he called the Nazis pigs as he killed them?
Yes, I do believe so.
So you think that, like, for Kermit Roosevelt, if he, I don't know if he fought or not, but if he did fight, that he was like, sort of finally living out that fantasy of just murdering his pig wife that he hates with every fiber of his being. Maybe that's why, like, he dropped down there. Like, maybe it was just like some sort of like cathartically therapeutic thing for him.
Can I just say too, as I'm looking at a picture of Kermit as well,
fuck you, Miss Piggy!
He looks a little crazy to himself.
Kermit?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
No, Kermit Roosevelt in particular. Because,
never mind.
Believe it or not, too, like, damn, they had a lot of health problems, like all of them. I think Theodore Jr. plus like Kermit, like, because Theodore Jr. had a heart condition and arthritis, and I believe he died of a heart attack after, I think, a month after D-Day, and then Kermit died. He fought a lifelong battle with depression and died by suicide while serving in the U.S. Army in Alaska during World War II. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're doing in Alaska, buddy, but I mean,
he has to live in like Teddy Roosevelt's shadow.
I mean, they all did though.
Yeah, that's gonna take its toll. You know what I mean? It's like you're never gonna be as good as him. Yeah. You're never gonna be as good as him unless you somehow run for president and become president yourself, and somehow do a better job than this guy did. Get your fucking face on that mountain. Ain't nothing.
Believe it or not, too, Junior, he had a Jeep, and he named it the Rough Rider, the nickname for his father's regiment during the Spanish-American War. That's fucking some anime level shit right there.
What would I have to do to get you to look into something for me?
It's gotta be at least a little memey in nature.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Do you think any of the Roosevelt sons nicknamed their penis the Rough Rider? Like, what would I have to do to like get you to like go into the fucking archives and dig through that for me? Like, see if you can find like some possible record in there, friends of family, acquaintances, like. Friggin' like, dried up, dinosauric leftover condoms that were left around Sagamore Hills. Just fucking anything. Anything that you can, like, dig up, like, being the professional historian that you are. Would you be able to do that for me?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I'd
pay you.
I also think I'm gonna be shit out of luck because if I go to the archives, I have to state a reason as to why I'm there.
You're like trying to like fake the evidence too. Like you just walk in and you drop like a magnum behind you. Like, oops. Like you just like throw it on the ground, leave it there, like put some dirt on it for a couple of days, and then like dust it off. Be like, a clue.
The carbon dating. It says it's 2 days ago. And like
this conspiracy goes all the way to the top, dude. You called like the Magnum president, got him to like put like a different like number, a different date on like one of the condoms in there, like old timey looking fucking like packaging on the wrapping paper and everything. It's like, and we can know from this artifact that was discovered at Sagamore Hill just last week by none other than famed historian Dennis Chung that Archibald Roosevelt was packing a dong. It says here that...
Yo, his last name was Bullock? Oh, come on,
It says here that they named him the Bulk. And that everywhere he went, you would hear a scraping sound dragging along the ground from the bottom of his left pant jean.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, dude, come on. The guy lived throughout most of his life being named Archibald, dude. If he didn't have a fucking monster cock, you bet that fucker would have killed himself. He's a Roosevelt. He was probably depressed off his ass, or he would have been otherwise. You know?
This dude also, like, I think a lot of the Roosevelts...
Out of those four guys, Archibald definitely had the biggest dick. Just saying.
I don't know, man. Junior seemed to have the biggest dick.
He had the biggest balls.
Because, I mean...
There's a difference between the dick and the balls,
But you
Dennis.
also don't just land on Utah Beach being a 2-star general and not die.
Dennis, if there was anything I've learned in the last year, it's that one, girls do not have bows.
Yes.
I learned that just
yeah,
this
we
year.
all know this.
Yeah. Who would have thunk it,
except
right?
Except you, apparently.
Except me. I could have sworn that girls had bows, but apparently they don't. That's crazy, I know. And two, there's a difference between the dick and the bows. And what I'm saying is that, like, TR Jr., he had the biggest bows, because even though he didn't have to, he wanted to be dropped in there so he could go on a fucking pig slaying spree. And two, Archibald Roosevelt did he kill himself? Please tell me no. Please tell me no.
I think it was only Kermit.
Okay, good. It was only Kermit.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Archibald, he got a lot of he had a lot of injuries from the war. Wounded by an enemy grenade in 1943, shattered the same knee that had been injured in World War I, II, for which he had been early medically retired and earning him the distinction of being the only American to be ever classified as 100% disabled for the same wound incurred in 2 different wars.
But you know they sent that fucker back.
So that fucking knee got wrecked. Like, this dude's like baseball career is over.
Hey man, at least it wasn't the hamstring. Like all these football players going down.
Roosevelt was awarded his 2nd and 3rd oak leaf clusters to the Silver Star in lieu of additional rewards. So, yeah, of course he had the Purple Heart, as obviously anyone who got injured would. Asia Pacific Campaign Medal, Bronze Star, Silver Star. Damn, this dude was decorated. Holy shit! I mean, I think all the Roosevelts were straight up like decorated. Believe it or not. Kermit, I believe The thing with him, the one interesting fact about him was that, you know how Teddy Roosevelt had like that whole expedition going down to like the Amazon jungle, right? He got sick like bad. I don't know. It was something like typhoid on steroids or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of diseases down there, you know.
Yeah, if you're not careful, obviously. And Teddy Roosevelt got so sick that literally, like, Kermit dragged his ass out of the jungle. Like, it's like, no, Dad, you're not dying here, and just grabbed him by the collar and just said, "We're leaving. We're going now."
Just thinks he's somebody else, like just hallucinating. He's just like talking up, like looking to the sky, like bugs in his eyes, like, "I am most concerned with the well-being of the princess.
If I could be in a boxing match with the Kaiser, I'd win on round 1. I don't know how Teddy Roosevelt spoke, but I'd like to imagine
he had a very high-pitched voice.
Yeah,
he had a very high-pitched voice. Like he sounded like, maybe not the full stereotypical old-timey sounding voice, but he is heavily what that's based off of. Like, you know, like, this week on the Double Mystery Hour, like, you know, like not like that. Like he didn't sound like a cartoon character, but you know, yeah. You know what pisses me off?
That Roosevelt died in Alaska on June 4th, 1943.
Yeah, that really just makes me so angry every day, Dennis.
From a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Fuck me, goddamn.
Those are some big balls.
But his death was reported to his mother, Edith, as a heart attack. And he was interred in Fort Richardson National Cemetery. And a stone gateway was erected in his honor in 1949. Holy fuck. There's a town in Texas named after him. Kermit, Texas.
Man, that sucks. Texas.
And Kermit, West Virginia, too.
I want to live in Kermit, West Virginia.
Hey, yo, what town you from? Oh, I'm from Kermit. What, like the frog? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's back the way you came.
Yeah, you're sorry.
What
was the thing you were?
I don't know why. I was randomly thinking about this recently because I saw somebody on Twitter like address somebody as they, and it's somebody who literally does not go by they as one of their pronouns.
So
don't you just see like a weird? Don't you see like I think it was like a woman. I think or. I don't remember the context of who they were talking about, but it was somebody who just went by, you know, one of the genders. Wasn't like non-binary or nothing, but this person just said they, and I don't know why. It's like I want to say it's like an option select because like if and you don't know, but at the same time if you do know, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? You know, we started
what the fuck
gendering people accurately, you know, people who, like, you know, trans people, non-binary people and whatnot, like, by their specified gender. People are very PC about that nowadays, especially, you know, where I come from, or at least, in, you know, esports and shit, like, back in that old chestnut, or at least Smash, because, you know, they love to virtue signal. But, they, isn't it kind of ironic when you fucking misgender somebody in the name of political correctness? Do you know what I mean? It's like you're doing the exact thing.
Why even do it at all then?
Like you're doing the exact fucking thing that you claim to be against. You're not addressing this person by their proper gender, but just because they're not one of the marginalized people, as you say, it's okay.
But
there's different. What's up?
Can I ask too? It's like, isn't it also like really jarring if you just went up to a person? It's just like he, she, or it. Like, what do you go by? Like.
The thing, some people.
I always found those pronouns so fucking weird. And I mean, like, if they, let's say, if I went to go and talk to them, right, and like they introduce themselves to me, and they like say, oh, and I also go by like blah blah blah, like as an afterthought. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's like okay,
yeah.
But people would start with that first. It's like, it's a she, it, and they, whatever. Like, yeah, it's like those. And if you say anything else, you're dead to me. And I'm like.
Some people literally wear little badges, like when you first meet them. Like I knew some.
Oh God!
Like I knew one person who originally went as he him, who was not a cis he him, and then they went by they, and I misgendered that person a couple of times at first because I didn't see the fucking badge, among other things. But like. Dude, funny story. I swear to, like, that person, for whatever reason, they just thought we were way closer than they thought we were. Like, I have a friend at work who would, like, playfully like punch me and shit and kick me, not like hard or anything like that, in like just like a friendly kind of way. And this other person saw that and then just kind of started doing that to me too. Except
to like
hard.
get back at you, or like
No, except that's the theory. Except like hard is the thing. And they felt really bad about it at first because one day they just came up to surprise me by like punching me twice in the back. And I have a fucked up back. They knew that, or like they forgot or something, and I kind of yelled at them for it, and they felt terrible about it. Like they were like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry," and then like they kind of just like went away and stuff like that. But there is a tiny part of me, and I got no evidence to say this, but there is a tiny part of me that thinks because of the 2 or 3 times or however that I misgendered this person, who was literally going through multiple fucking, like, gender switches at the time. Like, there was a goddamn light switch in their room, just like, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, like, up and down. Like, I'm talking Omega alphabet people here. Multiple times to the, like... to the point, like, I kind of think it was subtle. I think they were mad at me, Dennis. They changed their name at one point, too, and, like, I got it wrong every time, because no shit, every time I talked to this person... the gender or the name was different. So, like, I'm sorry, but sometimes when you don't know these things at first, you can't always blame a man. There's no reason to punch him in his herniated disc. It's herniated for a reason. You don't gotta bring that shit down low. You don't think it's already embarrassing enough that I have a fucking herniated lumbar disc at the ripe old age of 25? Unfortunately, my mom did fuck my dad, and I have the most bitch-made genes imaginable. You don't have to, like, put the fucking nail in the coffin there just because I accidentally misgendered you when you're still discovering yourself that much. I'm sorry. Like, Dennis, there were, like, people in, like, fucking... There was, like, people on the other end of the spectrum, right? I mean, there's another side to it. There's another story to this fucking gendering thing that we're going on about here. You are Smash Brothers. Last year, 2020, I was still commentating tournaments very frequently. It was something that really kept me going during the times that we couldn't, like, leave our house or nothing like that, right? Mm-hmm. What do you... Dennis, you wouldn't punch me in the back if I called you a girl, right? Well, actually, that's a different context.
No, I would not. If there's one thing that I don't fuck with, like, personally, like, maybe this is gonna sound a little real, but I guess I don't fuck with personal injuries. Like, I don't like, I'll poke fun at your, like, big ass head or something, but it's like, I'm not gonna, like, be like, punching your forehead and be like, wow, why is this thing so fucking big? Like, no,
I don't even know if this person just didn't know their own strength or something else, but either way, even if they didn't, it was awkward.
Most people don't know their own strength.
We were not that close, though, Dennis. That's the thing. Like, I don't vibe with you enough for you to fucking, like, do that to me.
To even, like, let you
stop
touch my
touching me, please.
Yeah, like...
It was fucking awkward as shit. Like, yeah. It really turned me off to this person. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, like, the people that are a little too touchy at first?
Yeah.
They like grab your shoulder, like, stuff like that. It's like, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, I just met you 5 seconds ago. You're a friend of a friend at the very least.
That can sometimes be a red flag. Like, I know people who were like that who literally wound up being predators.
What about
like, straight up? What's up?
What about hugs?
When people need a hug, yeah. It depends on the person. If you ask, it's like, it's okay. Like, I have a friend who was just going through a breakup, and she would just kind of vent all that stuff to me.
Yeah.
I never asked, but, she would kind of vent all that stuff to me. And I was listening because, the poor thing, she's just a young kid, and she was really going through a time, and, like, she was dating this really fucking insecure dude who would, like, accuse her of, like, cheating and shit, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, she finally broke up with him. They weren't together long anyway, and she felt, like, at least, like, better about it and whatnot. And then she is kind of like a edgier, like, more rebellious kind of kid, like, she's very young, and so, but, like, she really opened up to me for some fucking reason, just because, like, people do. I've said this on the show before. People just open up to me a lot. I'm very trusting and handsome, and they could just sense that I have a big schlong. So like they're just like, you know what, I can. They're like, you know what, I can trust this man. I can feel the vibes from his penis, and it's okay. He's here to take care of me. He's not gonna do anything bad to me. So she was really thanking me a lot for that, and it's like, yeah, there you go. And like I would I would just like tap her shoulder, be like, yeah, it's okay, because the poor thing was like crying to me and whatnot, you know. But when it comes to hugs, I think you have to ask, especially if it's somebody younger. And I wouldn't have hugged this person regardless, because she's a kid, like she was underage, she's like 17 or something, so like that would already be kind of inappropriate if I did that. But I think if you ask, and or if you're like genuinely like close enough to somebody, it's funny that you mentioned that. It's like I'm way more comfortable, and I'm not gay, I'm not into dudes at all, but like I'm way more comfortable hugging dudes than hugging women at first, for the sole reason that I know if I hug this man, nothing bad's gonna happen to me.
Like, this man isn't gonna try to cancel me by hugging.
In a way, yeah. Like, there's my boy Skylar. There's my boy Skylar who co-manages my kiosk with me, and I hug him all the time. And it's okay, you know. And it's like I don't pop a boner or nothing. It's like, all right, still not gay. I guess I learned that about myself, but like,
do like a daily check off like on that list. It's like, not gay. Okay, anyways, moving on.
Oh, thank God. Not like that, you know. Like, no, but like it's just it's different. To the point where, like, I'm literally, like, more comfortable hugging people who are, like, the gender that I'm not attracted to, for the sole reason that I'm scared that I'm gonna, like, make this woman uncomfortable. And that, I mean, honestly, usually I'll, like, wait for a woman to hug me, or, like, well, just more than anything, you see how you vibe. Yeah, you know, and anything, it's different. Like, I have a friend that I'm very, very close with at work, but she's not a hugger, so I never try to hug her. She's not, shut the fuck up. And she's never really akin to like that kind of physical touch, you know, like she's kind of not keen with that in that sense, so I never do that. I have another friend who I'm close with there, polar fucking opposite, who like is definitely more of a handsy, flirtatious, very like hugger kinds of person, and I'm okay with that because she's hot as fuck. So I'm more than all right with that. So I think it depends on how you vibe with a person. You just got to see it like how that goes or whatnot. And if worse comes to worse, you can't feel out the vibes, just ask. You know what I mean? Like just ask, I guess. But like,
yeah, dead ass, really.
Like, OD dead ass facts. We out with the boys. Dummy brick, New York, whatever.
It's also like, and I guess this is gonna go for all the fellas that are listening today. Don't ever hug first. As a dude, hugging another girl, let's say, like this specifically, like from guy to girl, like don't be the first one to hug. Just don't ever. Like even if you think it's okay, don't do it. It's a trap. No, it's a trap. It's a fucking like that hug is a bear trap that is meant for you.
I think it has to do with like a gender thing, you know. I don't know if it's like that old stigma of just like, you know, women are beautiful, men are not, or however, more so, or just prioritizing like women's boundaries over others. Because I've not often, I mean, because like I guess women don't hug me that often, or women I don't know, but I was uncomfortable with this, you know, this person touching me. You know, this person who was born a woman and now goes by they and stuff like that. Like this person got way too fucking physical. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we had fun, we joked around, we were coworkers, we vibed, but at the same time I'm just like, I don't know you well enough for you to fucking do this to me, like, or that, and I was uncomfortable. So I don't want to say it's just a gender thing, but I feel like you do gotta respect like women's boundaries more.
I think just in general across the board, like people's boundaries, because it's also like, you know, people, I have really no other better way to say this. Like some people that you meet could have been touched funny like when they were young. So it's like that kind of physical kind of contact is like just like, okay, get the fuck away from me. Like literally, like, you know, just because of all that suppressed trauma and shit that they might have. Like there's like a lot of stuff that kind of goes into it. Like I personally, for me, and I think for me and David in general, it's just like I guess for me, I'm gonna say this right now. If you're like, it's gonna sound so shallow. I'm really sorry. If you're an ugly motherfucker, like get the fuck away from me. Like, I'm sorry. Like I said it was gonna be shallow, but
you gotta like, remember though.
You gotta be like at least a 7 or something.
This is the mentality that I think we can end this on. You just gotta remember that to some people, you are the ugly motherfucker. That's all you gotta know. It's just like you're not attracted to everyone either, right?
Yeah.
That's why part of why you can't take rejection that hard, among other things, unless it's a person you're like literally in love with or whatever. But the thing is, Dennis, it's like during like 2020, like during these Smash Brothers tournaments and whatnot, you know, half the time, I mean, there are a lot of trans people in the Smash community. I'm not gonna lie, like a lot, and not even just that, but like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still like predominantly fucking like prepubescent fucking boys and shit, but like, when I would cast tournaments and stuff, because I was doing a lot of big tournaments in 2020 and whatnot, it was keeping me sane, and I was really on my grind as a commentator, you know, not that that shit matters, but I would often, we would say they, because the thing that I will say is that Smash tournament results, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Anybody can fucking fight me on this. I don't care. Wi-Fi doesn't fucking matter. It didn't fucking matter. Ultimate's Wi-Fi is so unbelievably fucking peer-to-peer, like dog shit fucking AOL onion router bad that like I don't care. Like, and like
just compared Smash.
Dude, people would literally often say that like, well, dude, it's like layers, you know, like onions have layers, smashers have layers. You get it. You get it. Everyone has layers. All right, like they both have layers. All right, but like, ogres have layers.
Smash players have layers.
Oh my god. But yeah, oftentimes, you know, like results were just flipped around up on their head. Dennis, I'm telling you, as soon as Wi-Fi tournament started, a bunch of players started winning shit that you never fucking heard of. You never heard of these people before in your life. You know, like a lot of these like locals were globalized and stuff, and they had a ton more entrants because they were Wi-Fi tournaments. People were just playing the game from home, and a lot of the times, like you know, regular PR players were getting like upset, quote unquote, and shit, because you know you can't fucking play when there's like 4 extra frames of delay. You know what I mean? Or like, or 6 really. I think it's actually 6 and whatnot. To the point where like ranking stopped. You know, like. PR stopped, you know, like the PGR stopped, which is the global ranking for Smash Ultimate. So why the fuck are we saying that, like, you know, Wi-Fi results mattered still? Because they fucking don't. Like, get off your fucking high horse with that. Honest to God, bro. I'm not saying it's easy to win one of those things. I'm not saying all those players are shit. But at the same time, so many of them, I'm not saying they all disappeared, but some of them are gone, among other things. The point is, though, none of that matters. You can have what you want about that, but the point is there were a lot of players that we never fucking heard of, we can't see, and people will call us problematic for misgendering them. When we never heard of them before. We don't know what fucking region they're from. There's no player cam or anything where we could see the person, which they would already deem problematic enough for, you know, gendering this person just based on what they look like or whatever. So a lot of us just defaulted to saying they when it was a player we never fucking heard of. And I tried to gender them properly when it was one that we heard of, like Esam or whoever, or like, you know, Myron, you know, top players and shit like that. But when it was like, you know, like, oh, like fucking Benjanine 99426, who just fucking made this big upset on like the #1 Incineroar player in the world or some shit. Like, I don't know you. I don't know you. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were a girl, or I didn't know that you were non-binary or some shit like that. I have no fucking possible way of knowing that. And the only reason I'm saying all this is because, like, there were people in the comments from the other end of the spectrum, from, like, the non-PC side of it, right? Who were like, God, like, I hate that these commentators are saying, like, they for everyone. It's so dumb that they're, like, misgendering, you know, everybody saying they. And it's like, fucker, we can't leave our houses. I've never heard of this person before. There's like, literally
who the fuck are you?
No possible way. Do you want me to research every single motherfucker in this bracket to see what their gender is before I go out here? I can do that, but I can think of better ways to spend my time actually growing as one. So a lot of us just defaulted to they. And most people didn't care, but some people did. So, you know, I like me seeing that guy on Twitter just refer to people who he knows don't go by they as like a fucking safe route, like an option select. When you know it's dumb, but I think in the context of my situation when I did it, when we as Smashcasters did it, I don't think that was dumb, right? Like, there was no way to know. There was no way to know, man.
And it's still like a new whole like avenue of like identities coming into like a scene, especially. And
Yeah.
That the whole shit also takes time, like, cause they want you to like know it right then and there, and you cannot afford to make a mistake at all.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, I mean, for the most part, like I never really talked to a trans person, obviously. And I think for the average person, like in the United States, like they probably haven't.
I like that you're honest about that, and you're not like just like the I have black friends,
No,
no. kind of person.
David, I can't afford to have more than like at least 10 good friends that like, because like my attention span's just so fucked. Like after it crosses one certain number, it's like, dude, I would. Like you're gonna get forgotten for like at least 2 months, and I'll be like, oh shit, what the hell happened to Brandon? And then I'll hit him up again, and I'll be like, oh yo, Brandon, how you been? And it's like been 2 months since the last time I talked to him. Like, and also cause like, I don't know, I just can't be one of those people that have like hundreds of fucking friends. It's like I lose track like after 10 people. My family, obviously not including them, but like, my cousins and all that, who I'm pretty pretty close with. But like outside of them, it's just kind of like, obviously among my friends, I have like maybe 7 to 8 good friends that I could name off the top of my head and everything. And after like, yeah, again, like after a certain number, it's just like, I'm sorry, like you're gonna get lost within the paperwork. Like it's just like I don't know what else to tell you. And
have you ever been lost in the sauce?
No, unfortunately.
that question was rhetorical.
Fuck you.
Yeah, same.
I hate you.
Me too.
All my being.
Me too, bro. Oh boy. Well, Evan, got nothing else to say about that. We could wrap. I don't think.
Fuck you, Monica.
I don't think there's too much else. Jack Dorsey says he's stepping down as the CEO of Twitter.
I know why though.
Why?
Because he's thinking he's gonna be able to do the same thing that basically Bezos did, in the sense that, I'm gonna be stepping down as CEO, but I'm still gonna have a hand in things. He doesn't basically want to perhaps be in the spotlight, but I think my reasoning for that reasoning alone is really like, I think I'm gonna say and admit it's probably pretty stupid to think, because Bezos has stepped down from being CEO of Amazon, but this dude's in the fucking news every goddamn day. So, but he also owns like 3 or 4 newspaper companies, so at least like, he probably has, he's just using his influence to like kind of be in the news, because like, what billionaire doesn't want to be in the news every fucking day nowadays? Like,
I don't know how it works. That's a loaded topic. All I'm saying is, I don't know, fuck Twitter. I guess that's my whole spiel on that. We're not gonna go into like a whole nother topic, I guess, at this point in the show.
Yeah, because my lumbar is lombarded.
No, my lumbar is lombarded. I don't want to hear that. Apparently, though, I'm like the youngest. I'm at the cutoff. I just learned this. I am 25, right?
Yes.
So I'm not a Gen Zer. Which I guess most people would not think I am based on, the sound of my voice and my height and my beard, among other things. But I was always like weird at like the weird cutoff of like the generations. And it turns out I think I'm literally just like among the absolute youngest millennials. Which, I'm going to be honest, knowing myself, that doesn't surprise me. I've always been an old soul. I have a back problem at the ripe age of 25. I got social anxiety that I power through, but I have it up to here. And all other things, I've always felt just old, not with it. I'm not with the kids these days. And apparently I am, like, literally at the cutoff of that, because apparently the oldest Gen Zers are 24. What do you know about that? Dude, no wonder I'm into older women as much as I am. They're literally of my kind.
I don't think that correlates.
Well, why not? Like, are you a scientist? Can you explain that to me?
No, David, I'm not a scientist, but I feel it in my heart of hearts that I don't think that shit correlates at all. People have multiple reasons why they like older women, and sometimes they're even younger than you.
Elaborate.
I don't think I need to. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to say I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Whatever you say, David. It doesn't really sound like you know what the fuck you're talking about half the time on this damn show either.
That's half the time in my life. That's how I get shit. It's called faking it till you make it, Dennis.
I mean, hey.
Life becomes a lot easier when you don't care about looking stupid, which too many of you motherfuckers out here do. Alright? There's a difference between being cautious and just being scared to try anything. You know what I was doing before this podcast started? Re-editing my demo reels. Because my fucking voice coach told me to. Because he's like, this shit sucks.
Oh, damn. Oh!
Well, it's not what he said, but, you know, like, he told me stuff to do with it, and then it's so good, like, because, like, I do his advice, and then I immediately am like, okay, I see why. You know what I mean? Like, I immediately am just like, oh, I get it now. You know, like, I immediately understand, like, why he told me to do that. Like, his advice follows through. I would not recommend Paul Liberty's classes more if he tried. He's been an amazing teacher. He's not literally my coach, but, you know, he's obviously coached me plenty of times and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, if you want to see the result of some of that said coaching, here you go. Fiverr.
Hey.
Right there, my profile. Click that if you want to hear my demo reels and see if I would be a good match for your voiceover project, whether it's commercial, promo, character, or just your YouTube project, whatever it is. I am very down to do it. And I do it for cheap. And I offer some other services on there for very minor additional fees as well, like audio editing, non-copyright free music, the full rights to the clips and whatnot, all that good stuff. So, in case you like the sound of my voice, which I apologize, it's cracked a couple of times during this episode. I'm recovering from a little viral thing. It's not strep. It's not COVID.
Omicron.
or Optimus Prime.
The Unicron strain.
Yeah, or, you know, the Optimus Prime unicorn strain. It's not any of that, so no worries. But yeah, if you like what you hear, go ahead and click that profile on there and see what we can get to going. Denise, your turn.
You guys, thank you guys for joining us. You can see us on Twitter, Instagram, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. And also, again, remember, fuck your mother. Fuck her right in the ass.
I would not recommend actually doing that unless you want that mental trauma all the way up the wazoo.
Unless you fuck your friend's mom.
Yeah. I mean,
would you fuck your friend's mom? If she was like coming on to you?
Two things.
Has it happened already?
No, it hasn't happened already, Dennis. I've never fucked any of my friends' moms.
Be a Chad ass move though. To fuck your friend's mom.
I would have to determine how close I am to that person. Like with somebody I met at a party once, or, you know, like I'm just very, very, very loose mutuals with, then honestly, depending on how hot they are, probably. But if it's somebody that I'm even like a semblance of like closer with, or like friends, or even mutuals with, then probably not. Actually, to be honest, I think in a lot of instances I wouldn't care. It legitimately depends on how close I am with the person and if I would be like impacting their lives negatively in any way. Like I'm not gonna like, is this the kind of person that I can walk up to and be like, you know, you can call me daddy too. Or not, you know what I mean? Like that's the end all be all here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's just like that's my hypothetical of the day, guys. But thank you for joining us.
This episode sucks. We had a history lesson for like 40 fucking minutes, and then
it was interesting though. I think the other Roosevelts are fairly interesting. Not
Dennis,
as much as Teddy or FDR, really, but they're still equally interesting.
Dennis,
I feel
nobody gives a fuck, okay? Teenagers and kids don't give a fuck about any of this shit, all right? All they're doing is just smoking meth before they hit grade school, okay?
In New Jersey? Yeah, definitely, considering we have that opioid crisis still going on.
It actually has been a long time since we've had like a good old-fashioned history lesson on the Double D experience. It's been a hot minute, actually.
It really has been. It's the reason why like I was so excited to talk about it, because like no one really, like you said, like, you know, nobody really gives a fuck. But at the same time, nobody really gives a fuck about the Roosevelts after FDR too.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't even know anything about the others, but like you read about them, it's just like, oh shit, like one was a depressive fuck. One pulled his literal dad out of the Amazon jungle. One straight up like was directing a battle in a World War II battlefield with bullets and mortars and shit going flying everywhere.
You could make a very sexually suggestive you could make a very sexually suggestively titled biography book titled about like all the Roosevelts that, you know, it were in between Teddy Roosevelt and FDR, and just call it In Between Roosevelt. In between Roosevelts.
Why hasn't there also like I would love that, but why hasn't there also been like an actual decent like drama about the Roosevelts?
Hey, Dennis, maybe it's being waited to be made. Maybe it could be you.
First season would be about Teddy, and then the next season would be about FDR, and then the next season I guess would be about the Sons and all their adventures during the war and shit.
Yeah, that's when everybody stops watching and they said the show just really dropped in quality.
It just really went downhill after the second season. Like, it's like, what were they even thinking? Like, why would they even make this? Like, why did HBO even greenlight this? This is fucking terrible. I hate this.
HBO, really? Oh wow, that's generous. I thought that shit would go straight to Netflix. Whatever though, we're rambling here at this point. Follow all the links. Ask us questions down in the comments below. Where nothing's off limits really. We'll talk about anything on this dumbass show, all that good shit. God, the don't give a fuckium is really like it's hitting me today. I don't know if I'm hungry or something else, but whatever.
It really is just like the fucking sun going down at 3 p.m.
Dude,
like,
fuck that shit.
I still like. I wish I could find the man who did that and like who thought like, oh, this is a great idea, and just stab him in the fucking eyes. Like,
well, the sun would go down earlier regardless.
Yeah, so it's like, fuck it though. Who cares? Why even bother then? Fuck him.
Would the sun go down even earlier then?
No, it's because we turned back the clock. That's why.
Oh.
They're like, oh, it saves time. It saves 1 hour. Well, fucking nature doesn't give a fuck about you changing the clock. Piece of shit. Fuck you.
All right.
And your mother.
I could feel the steam. I can feel the steam train leaving. Thank you all for watching. We will see you next week. Love you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Follow us
Merry Christmas.
Give us good. That's not politically correct. We can't say that.
Merry holidays.
It's Merry Christ Mass.
Merry Kwanzaa.
Goodbye.
Happy Chanukah. Hanukkah. Blow out your candles. Actually, no, wait, no. Don't blow out your candles. Bye.
Bye.
Happy holiday. Happy Christmas, Kwanzaa, Naka.